This isn't going to be a simple demo of a regular 1-2. We're going to go through all the different variations and give you a technical breakdown, throwing the 1-2 into 3 different slots, which is what we call in my coaching community. If you're interested, go to oracleboxing.com. We're going to go through every variation with as good technique as we possibly can, so that when you actually throw it in your spars or your fights, it does the job. Then I'm also going to explain how you can use those specific techniques and variations in the right tactical situation, so you're not just throwing it at the wrong time. We're going to start with the most basic one, and that is throwing it on the center line. If you've watched my videos, you know I teach a lot of the beginner stuff all on the center line, which means your weight distribution is slightly towards your back foot. It's like 60% here, 40% here. Your hips are about there. See, it's like a bigger distance towards my front foot than there is my back foot. I always say a scale of 1 to 10, we're at 6. That's where we want to be. That's where our hips are sat. Okay, slight bend in the hips, slight bend in the knees, relaxed upper body, and we're on the center line here. What I mean by center line is the midpoint. The midpoint, this being off the center line, and this also being off the center line. We're staying on the center. Okay, for this 1-2, you're just throwing it straight down the center, like you've got a metal rod going through the center of your body, and all you can do is just turn about it like this. Okay, this is a drill I like to give the people I coach, is practice turning through this 180-degree position of the shoulders like this. So here, my arms are lined up. I'm turning my hips first, turning my knee and pivoting on my back foot. And then once I get to here, my upper body can do a further almost 90 degrees to the point where this shoulder is coming up to the center line. Okay, and that's how you're going to throw your 1-2. You're going to throw the jab so the shoulder comes up. You don't necessarily have to twist with the jab. You can twist with the jab, but that's more to get power in the jab. We want to use the jab to line up the cross with this 1-2. So we're just going to extend it like this. Palms facing this way. I'm just going to twist the knuckles over and down like this. So now my palms facing downwards, my elbows locked out, my shoulders come to my chin like this. You'll notice I didn't change the position of my stance at all. I kept my elbows in. I just turned the knuckles over like this and just brought the shoulder up to my chin. Once we've got that position, then we can throw the cross. Okay, I'm not really rotating too much with the jab because I don't want to mess up. I don't want to bring this hand too far back like this. I don't want to open myself up. So I'm basically just going to twist my hand over like this. All right, I'm basically just doing like an arm punch, but we're twisting with the wrist and getting that elbow snap to give it power. Not power, to give it speed. So now we've brought that out to full length. Now we're just going to twist through with the body, elbow stays in, hips rotate, pivot on my back foot so my foot's pointing forwards, and then push this lead shoulder backwards. Okay, once I push this lead shoulder backwards, then my arm comes out. I fully extend, bring the shoulder up, look down my arm, lock out all the joints, kick my wrist over slightly. Okay, but it's going in like 4 different gears. You're turning your hips, then you're turning your shoulder, then you're turning your shoulders, then you're letting your arm go, and then you're twisting over your knuckles. So it's like a kinetic chain going through your body. Okay, you want to make sure you can do that with the cross before putting the jab before it. So it looks like this. Notice how I'm staying back here, I'm not coming forwards. All right, we want to avoid coming forwards because that's what we're going to get countered, especially on the center line. That's variation 1. Variation 1 is used when you've got someone up against the ropes and you just want to sort of pepper them from long range. You want to keep it long. If you've got someone shorter than you, variation 1's pretty good, as long as you keep your weight back. If you start coming over the front foot like this, that's where you're going to get countered. Okay, the next one is going onto the rear slot and then back onto the center. So I'm going to do that with the jab. So this is me timing my opponent's jab with my jab. So I'm slipping their jab, it's going over there. I'm landing my jab. And then as I turn back over, I'm coming back up onto that center line we were talking about. As I twist my hips, pivot my back foot, and then turn my shoulders, look down my arm. I'm now on the center. So I went from here where this shoulder is slightly lower than this shoulder, and I've basically slipped a shot, and then I'm coming back over the top of that punch, and then throwing the cross straight down the middle, okay? See how I'm back onto the center line? I went from this shoulder being lower to coming back onto the center line here. Yeah, Vlad. Can you do a demo? Yeah. See there? Then I'm coming back onto the center. Boom, boom. The next variation is throwing the jab on the center and then dropping your head off to the lead as you throw the cross. So when I'm throwing the cross normally, you see if I get right on the center here, you see my arm is traveling in the same sort of line as it is when I do this. The only difference is I just drop this shoulder down and lengthen my body slightly, so my head came off the center. All right, my weight is naturally going to come slightly more forward, but you'll see a lot of times, if you watch a lot of boxing, the more your head comes forwards, the more you're vulnerable to getting knocked the fuck out. All right, so if you're throwing your cross like this, you're just putting yourself in a lot of danger, because the cross is an easy punch to counter, or it's easier to counter than most. So if someone threw a cross like this, you could always meet them down the middle by really taking your head off the center and throwing a right hook, because their head's going to be right in position there to get countered. All right, so instead of us throwing the cross and coming so much far forward, we want to come more over to the side like this. All right, so we're going to throw the jab on the center, where I'm just twisting the wrist over like that. Okay, on the center, and I'm drop this shoulder as I go to throw my cross, but my cross travels straight down the middle like this. All right, so it's boom, boom, like that. Okay. Still all the same twisting mechanics that you see with the center line one. Boom, 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 boom. Ham. And the last variation is usually when you're slipping inside a punch, but you can just use it at any point anyway, because it sort of disguises what you're going to throw. You could throw your cross like this, but you could also just slip to this position where I drop this shoulder and then throw my jab. And then once I've thrown my jab from this position, see I'm on an angle here, it's like I've got a new axis. My axis is always my spine, and I'm turning around my spine like this. Okay, when I throw my jab, I'm in perfect position here to throw my cross, staying on that same axis. See that? So I'm going to drop my shoulder here, come up the middle there, and then throw the cross straight down the center. All right, so we've got on the center, we've got off the center, back onto the center, we've got on the center, off the center, and then we've got off the center, off the center, off the center. Okay, this is great if you're fighting someone who's the opposite stance to you, because you're slipping outside of all their shots, right? You've gone outside of their jab. You can get especially your cross lined up perfectly when you drop this shoulder. All right, lines up with the head perfectly, okay? So you can play around with all those different variations. Just start by getting used to the different angles like this, okay? And not just that, learn the basic on the center line stuff first, because you need to know how to keep your weight back, how to rotate your body properly, how to use all these different body mechanics efficiently, so that when you are boxing, they just come out naturally and you actually have punching power. Finally, and the most important part of this video, is getting your feet in. Because you can't land a 1-2 if your feet are too far away. Why? Because if your feet are back here and your target's over there, then automatically, if you don't get your feet in, you're going to reach forward. If you leave your feet behind, then your head's going to come forward. You're not actually really going to have any power, and you're probably going to fall off balance when you inevitably miss. All right, so you got to keep that same weight distribution and get the feet in. And you get the feet in by skipping this back foot in first. I know everyone teaches this, and you can do this. Actually, you can also throw a 1-2 as you step in. You can go jab and cross. You can do that. You just time the landing of the front foot with a jab and then the landing of the back foot with a cross. Okay, you need to pivot you turn your foot, almost like you're stamping it with a cross. Boom, like that. What was I saying? So getting your feet in, skip your back foot in first. So you're there, your weight stays back. Automatically, if I go like this, and I'm caught off guard, my weight isn't back ready for me to punch. But if I can skip my feet in first, then I can get the 1-2 off nice and clean. Right. If you found this video helpful, I actually progressed in boxing pretty fast compared to most people. I went up the amateur ranks pretty quick, and I made a video explaining how I did that and how you can do the same. If you feel like you're slightly behind or you're just sick getting beaten up by kids, then that video is for you. Just basically explains how you can play catch up and get better as quickly as possible. That video should be linked on screen now. Go give it a watch. I'll see you later.